Okay.
Okay. We will start the meeting. We were a little late today because of some technical difficulties. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. We'll start out with open forum, and this is for anybody who isn't on the agenda. Has 3 minutes to come up and address the board. Is there anybody out there for open forum today? Anybody online for open forum?
There's not.
Okay, so we'll forego our open forum. Review and approve of the minutes. We have
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Rosemary, seconded by Barrows. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Review and approve the agenda. We have one item on the agenda, I think 6.1, which is a public hearing, which I don't think is ready to do today, so we would like to forego with the public hearing unless there is somebody here just to address that. I would let them come up and address, or anybody online to address that. If not, we will forego that. I think we will wait for public comment, and we will schedule another public hearing after that. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. That's the only amendment I see.
Just to clarify, forego means you removed it.
Removed it, yeah.
Okay. Second.
Motion by Rosemary, seconded by Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda. Motion?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Franzine, second by Barrows. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Now, we'll go to the public hearing on 6.2, which is for the petition to vacate part of Maple Drive and Elm Drive in unorganized territory.
You need a motion to go.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to open the public hearing regarding the vacation of part of Maple Drive.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is that one all in favor signify by saying aye?
Yes.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're at a public hearing. Who is going to be addressing that?
Anyone in the audience?
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to address that?
That the lead petitioner was supposed to be here, but Mr. Ron? Yes. Okay. Would you like to come?
Would you like to come up and address what the hearing is for?
Check, check. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have been,
A name and address.
I'm
for the
sorry,
record.
my name is Bill Ron. I live in Afton, Minnesota, and have recreational property on North Long Lake. That property was purchased by my father-in-law about 1960. And I have been personally using that during the summer. I was a teacher. Been personally using that during the summer since about 1980. During that time, 1992, the next door neighbors vacated the portion to the west of me. So basically, that 20-foot cartway ends at the end of my property, so it goes through my property. My wife passed away in April, so I'm preparing to sell the property. And there are actually two lots separated by the cartway, and I would like to make it one contiguous lot.
Okay,
Thanks for your consideration.
thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would call for public comment if there's 3 times, if there's anybody out there, and if not, you can
Oh.
close it.
3 times. Anybody would want to comment on this hearing? Is there anybody online or here that would want to comment on this hearing?
There is no one online.
And there's no one online? And anybody on, one more time, right? Anybody here want to comment on this public hearing? If none, I make a
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
motion by Barrows, seconded by Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now it's 6 point. Okay,
So Mr. Chair, I would
Yes.
second that, but I do have a question. Is the county engineer going to speak to this? I would like to hear from the county engineer.
sure, thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This actually has become an administrative process run by the Administrator's Office. The Highway Department, Land Services Department, the Attorney's Office all get to comment, and we have submitted our comments on that. And I can speak for the Highway Department. Our comment, it is not a current road. It's not projected to be used as a public road in the future, and this also is very similar to other processes. People have come forward to vacate these small portions of Sugar Bush Trail, I believe it's called, to make their property contiguous. So this is something that's happened quite often over the years, and there is no public interest from the Highway Department in it being a public road now or in the future.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, there were comments from, or there were some comments from the Attorney's Office and from Land Services that were in your packet.
Yep.
Nothing to not say that this can be done, so.
I think it just says he addressed, it's pretty much an administrative thing because of some of the lots that were done and platted back years ago that have pretty much become non-existent today, so. Looking for a motion?
You've got a,
We have a motion.
Oh,
and
I
a
did,
second.
oh, I have a motion, okay. Franzine and Coring, okay. Motion made and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Could you, who made and seconded that? I had Steve.
Franzine and Coring.
Okay.
Got a little off beat today with starting 20 minutes
Got
late.
it.
Community Services.
Good morning, Chair Lubke and Commissioners. I'm back. I had been before you on August 27th for the determination of need for VOICE, a program of direct care and treatment. And at that time, you did approve the location, the move. This is a needs determination that has to go into DHS. They were requesting to move to a new space on 611 Oak Street, which you did approve. The item that was a part of the request was to move their on-site capacity from 40 individuals to 8 individuals. And this, there's kind of two reasons for this. One, they are not serving this number of individuals in the community or on-site. And then the second piece of this is that the location that they're moving to, the on-site capacity is the 8, and that is why they are requesting to reduce that to 8. At that time, you had two different questions that I wanted to address today. One was, do we lose capacity when we do this? And so we did pose that question to DHS, and we do not. We will retain the 32 spots for another day treatment or day program if one were to request to be developed in our county. And then the second question was around if we were not to approve this, what does DHS do? DHS indicated that they would follow the lead agency, which is Crow Wing County's recommendation on this, and that it would be the right of the organization that put forward so it would be right of direct care and treatment VOICE to submit an appeal, and then they'd bring that appeal back to us. So it would be my recommendation that the board would approve and allow VOICE to reduce their capacity, their on-site capacity, down to 8 and be able to move to this new location. And with that, I would request your permission for me to sign the needs determination application as it is presented.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
as the maker of the motion on 827, I would make a motion to reconsider that motion and change the on-site capacity from 40 to 8 to come into compliance with DHS and to authorize Tammy to sign the agreement.
Motion by Barrows. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Hoag. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none.
So just to clarify, so technically, we should, if we're going to reconsider, that should be a vote to reconsider, and then we should have the change is really what should happen. I mean, I think we run a
Mr.
little
Chair.
bit loose
Yeah,
here,
well,
but that's
yeah, well,
technically
yeah.
what should happen. So if
Okay,
that was a
let's-
vote to, now it's on the table to reconsider it, so you want to make your motion?
So on the table would be the recommended action that was in the packet, which was the action at the last board meeting that didn't get approved.
This is a fun day.
I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Chair, I will make the motion to take the recommendation that the Community Services has provided regarding the capacity at 611 Oak Street for the Voice organization. Is that how we want to do this, or do you want me to read the whole board action?
I don't think you need to read it.
So that's a motion.
That's
What
the
about
motion.
the other motion that you made? That was not to be considered?
Just to bring it up to the table, to
Okay.
reconsider the vote.
Right.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we
Second.
still have a second? We have a second with Hoag. Now, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Okay, now we're on to 7-2.
And I guess I didn't introduce myself earlier, so I'll do that now. Tammy Lewick, Adult Services Manager, Community Services.
I'm Morgan Althouse, Adult Services Supervisor with Adult Protection, our coordinated community response workers and MnChoices.
So this morning, we come before you to bring forward a proclamation for Vulnerable Adult Abuse Awareness Prevention for September. I won't read it all, but I'll just highlight a few pieces. People who are elderly or have disabilities have contributed to the general welfare of Crow Wing County by helping to preserve customs, convictions, and traditions of many people from diverse backgrounds. These residents are vital and integral members of our society, and their wisdom and experience has enriched our lives. Elder abuse can take many forms, including physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, as well as self-neglect and financial exploitation. Abuse of vulnerable populations is a widespread problem affecting hundreds of thousands of people across our country. Suspected abuse was reported 674 times to adult citizens of Crow Wing County who are elderly or have disabilities in 2023. Abuse happens to men and women of all income levels, all cultural and ethnic groups, whether they are in good health or incapacitated in some way, in your neighborhoods and in rural areas. Many of the cases investigated by our adult protective team involve self-neglect and financial exploitation. It is our duty as citizens to reach out to people in need. We would request the board's consideration and approval of this proclamation for September of 2024 to recognize vulnerable adult abuse awareness and prevention. So we'd like that, and then we do have some sharing that we'd like to do for the month of September. I don't know if you'd like us to do that first? Okay, Morgan's going to,
So maybe just a question? if I may.
Yes.
So is there, I know that in the past, for the last 12 years, I don't know that a lot of times that we've done proclamations or letters of support, and you know that. And so I'm just wondering, is this something that DHS is requiring us to do? Are they asking us to do this? Where's this all, I mean,
Where does it come
obviously
from?
it's a great thing, but where's it coming from? Just,
You know, I think for us, we have members of our adult protection team here, our multidisciplinary team from the community. And I think we had started a couple of years ago doing an awareness month in the month of September. And then we do some events to really help our community understand adult protection matters and what that is. You know, many times people come up at we'll share some of the events that are happening, but they'll come up and be like, what's adult protection, you know? And so we're really we have made September a month that we are trying to recognize, and that is why we brought the proclamation forward. There are other other adult protection teams across the state that have also done similar proclamations, and we thought that we wanted to bring this forward to you for the month of September to give recognition to this need in our community and create awareness, as well as the prevention efforts that are going on. Do you want to share some of the events, Morgan?
Sure, yes. So in the month of September, so we've done this fundraiser for the last 3 years. This is our 3rd year, and each year we've had different community partners supporting our work with adult protection. This year we have Cub Food in Brainerd and Baxter working with us from September 9th to September 23rd. During that time, they'll be selling donation cards in increments of $1 or $5. In addition to Cub, we have Schaefer's Food in Nisswa. They've participated for the last 3 years as well, and they will do it for the entire month of September. This year, we also partnered with Rafferty's Pizza in Brainerd, who will also be selling our donation cards. In addition to this fundraiser, we are doing 3 different mandated reporter trainings with different community partners. Last week, we did it with Essentia Health and their social work department. This week, we're scheduled with CRMC and their social work department. And next week, we were invited to give a presentation to the State Veteran Service Officer Conference that's being hosted at Madden's. So we're pretty excited to have such a captivating audience to share this message and really get awareness for vulnerable people in our community. Our multidisciplinary team meets monthly, and they're all in full support of the work that we do. We work with law enforcement, our hospital staff, veterans. We've got a few community banks that participate in this meeting as well. To just really make sure that we are addressing the needs of the reports that we get from all angles. In 2023, as Tammy mentioned, we had 674 reports. As of the end of July this year, we are at 513, and we hit our highest number of reports in the month of July ever in Crow Wing County, and we've got 85 reports. To give some context, a few years ago, we were sitting around 30 to 40 reports a month. Last year, we were averaging around 60. So to see 85, you can definitely tell that, one, our population is aging and those individuals are needing assistance. And we're also just getting that awareness and education out there so that people make reports and look out for their neighbors too.
So, Mr. Chair, my personal opinion is that this is an important issue that our team provides out there, that when we're talking about vulnerable adults, and in this case, it's a lot of seniors that are incapable of taking care of themselves, watching over themselves, are easily taken advantage of. I personally think that this is an opportunity that we need to take to help inform the community as a whole. You speak at certain events, those are smaller events, but I think coming from the county board, it makes a big statement across the county to this issue. So with that, if there's no other questions, I'll make the motion to approve the resolution that's attached, unless you want me to read it. As September as the Vulnerable Adult Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month in Crow Wing County.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion from Barrows, a second from Hoag. All in favor signify saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. I didn't hear, did you say yes, A or nay?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't, okay. All in favor signify saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the team, too, for
Yes.
what you do. We appreciate it very much. Tough job.
Land Services.
Good morning. I have one item for your consideration this morning. We have the final plat of Woodshire. This is a plat that has 10 individual lots and 1 outlot. This is located in Section 18 of Lake Edward Township. This was before the Planning Commission back on September 21st of 2023, and then the preliminary plat was approved by the board here on October 10th of 2023. They do have 1 year to come forward with the final plat, and that is what you have before you today, is the final plat of Woodshire. You can see up here on the screen, it's located off of County Road 13, and the Clark Lake Dam Road will be on the south and the west side of Clark Lake. You can see the lots as they lay out here, and there's the road that's put there. And this is, again, just a final plat and meets all ordinance requirements, and I would recommend approval.
Just missing it.
The comment that we had received from Lake Edward was that there were no concerns from the township. It was built up, the road will be built up to the township specs for maintenance.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion by Franzine, second by Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. County Sheriff, who's coming up here to speak on this? Good morning, Clayton.
Morning. Clayton Barr, Crow Wing County Emergency Management. It's always a pleasure, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, to kind of give you an update as far as where we're at with emergency management. Several different projects going on. There've been a couple of requests as far as where we're at with our state declaration from our June tornado. Reached out to the state to see where we're at with that, and was basically told that with all the flooding that came after the tornado, the state was pretty busy along with the FEMA declaration. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll hear back something on that. Obviously the governor's been busy as well, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll hear something back on that. We also submitted a armor equipment grant for $424,000. We haven't heard anything back on that. Those grants were supposed to be awarded back in August, but they'd gotten a lot of requests on that, and hopefully here within the first couple of weeks of September we'll hear back on that. We more than likely won't get the full grant amount, but we are actually hoping to get the bidirectional amplifier for Breezy Point for our armor network to kind of fill in that dead spot up there. So fingers crossed that that gets approved and we get some funding for that. September is also National Preparedness Month, and I know Darcy put out a press release to the public on that, just wanting to get communities and the families start talking as far as what preparedness looks like out there within the community, and starting that dialogue, starting that conversation with family members. The next week is also the Association of Minnesota Emergency Managers will be meeting up in Breezy Point for a 3-day conference. So that'll be first part of the week, and then on Friday we'll have our full-scale airport exercise out at the Brainerd Airport as well. So that's going to be on Friday. So that'll be a busy day for us. I've also been working with FEMA's National Exercise Program to do a initially it was going to be a full-scale exercise, but we scaled it back to a tabletop exercise for 2025, basically a severe weather windstorm exercise, and FEMA will be coming out and kind of walking us through that process for a tabletop exercise. That'll be September of 2025 with the hopes of around that September of 2026 doing a full-scale exercise in Breezy Point for a severe weather windstorm event. Crow Wing County is also in the process of updating our hazard mitigation plan. And it's a 5-year FEMA requirement, so we just started that process. You may have also seen it's on our county website for public comment, so we're looking for the community to provide input as far as hazards that they see within the community, and kind of we'll be working through that process. A huge part of hazard mitigation is obviously fires, and today we'd also like to talk about our community wildfire protection plan, and we're requesting the board to adopt that. But the true champions of that plan, that community wildfire protection plan, is Cross Lake Fire Chief Tim Lohmiller and Brainerd Fire Chief Tim Holmes. So I'll ask them to come up and kind of talk a little bit more about the community wildfire protection plan.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Thanks for having us here today. I'm just going to do a little overview of how we came across and built this Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Back in May of 2023, Cross Lake Fire Department was selected to participate in the International Association of Fire Chiefs Community Wildfire Protection Plan Assistance Program. Through this program, the Wildfire Program staff assisted Cross Lake Fire and Brainerd Fire in developing the Crow Wing County Community Wildfire Protection Plan. The development of the Crow Wing County Community Wildfire Protection Plan is a crucial initiative aimed at safeguarding the county's residents, infrastructure, and natural resources from the threat of wildfires. The process involved engaging local community members and stakeholders, as well as conducting a final evaluation of the CWPP. Additionally, we received a grant funding to support the implementation of a community engagement day, which was held in Cross Lake on June 29th, and we had great turnout for that event. In August of 2023, the Cross Lake Fire Department applied for the Fire Department Exchange Program and was one of 6 fire departments selected nationwide to participate. So myself and Chief Holmes convened in Lake Tahoe in October 23 to discuss various wildland fire challenges, broaden our knowledge base, and develop innovative solutions to enhance our practices and procedures. This exchange covered key strategies such as mitigation, suppression, response, partnership, outreach, and education. And back in November of 2023, we held a wildfire tabletop exercise with county partners, including the County Sheriff's Office, area fire departments, local law enforcement agencies, North Ambulance, Brainerd Airport, city officials, utility companies, the American Red Cross, and the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. It was a great event, great turnout, and it showed how much we needed to create this plan moving forward in the future. This has been over a 2-year-long project. I think in your memo I put a year long, but we actually started it in 2022. And we have worked diligently to develop the Crow Wing County Community Wildfire Protection Plan. We now wish to share this plan with the commissioners and seek its adoption in the Crow Wing County Natural Hazards Mitigation Plan. This plan will be a dynamic document subject to updates and revisions as needed to ensure its continued relevance and effectiveness. Each and every year we'll look it over and see if we need to add anything else. So thank you for your consideration. Appreciate your time. It's a long document. I don't know if you were able to read through it all, but it took a while to put it all together. Thank you.
I think Steve did. He read it twice, backwards and forwards. So, may I ask a question?
Yes, I was
So
glad you
this
are.
isn't, in doing this request for board action, what this is adopting this plan like and putting it into our book that if a wildfire or something breaks out, this is kind of our document planning. This isn't like where we're going to apply for some grants or something like that, and it isn't authorizing any money. It's just a planning document, correct?
Correct. It's just a plan that's going to go into the hazard mitigation plan. However, with the county adopting this and putting it in our plan, it creates opportunities for federal grants, for mitigation, for the highway department, the soil and water, everybody can apply for grants. There's, I think it was the 2003 Restoration Act, that there's a lot of funding out there that we can apply for now, that once this is adopted in our Crow Wing County Emergency or Hazard Mitigation Plan, we can apply for certain grants that are going to help benefit, helping us get through our plan of creating defensible spaces, helping with making our right-of-ways a little bit wider, cleaning them up, so that helps prevent wildfire spread.
So, may I ask another
Sure,
question?
yep.
So when you have this plan, or whether it's some other plan, and I don't want to come across like I'm trying to come across as a smart aleck. I'm not trying to do that, but how do you implement that? I mean, you don't have, like in your pickup truck, you're riding around, and God forbid a tornado goes through, and you're sitting there, and you go, well, I don't know what to do. I'm going to grab the book, and I'm going to page through, and I mean, can you just kind of go into what the documents mean? Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
I don't think you ride around and don't make a move without looking in the book to see what to do, right?
Right, so this is I would say a 30,000-foot view of the wildfire protection plan for the county. So it just gives us some key guidelines, some strategies on how we can not necessarily respond to incidents, but educate before they become an incident. There's also some areas in the plan that are identified where we'd like to do projects to further the safety of those neighborhoods. For example, some roads may be dead-end roads, very narrow. So we've identified a few of those in the plan that we would like to get the funding that Chief Obermiller mentioned to help the county roads or the township roads to strengthen those communities to make them safer. So this isn't a plan for, if we go to wildfire A, this is exactly what we're going to do. This is a larger strategic plan for the county as we work on education and mitigation and things like that before we have to respond to an incident.
So just an example then, if you're saying that, Mr. Chair, so an example is if, there's some cabins that are down, probably down some pretty narrow roads, and if something, fire or something happens, and you get called out there, that you might not even be able to access that. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Right. Some of those are specifically identified in the plan as areas that we have the highest concern. Also in the plan, there's maps that identify higher risk areas as well as dead-end streets. So what we did is we correlated those two maps together and focused on those areas specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, and those mitigation would also strengthen the evacuation of those areas if we needed to.
I don't know, may I ask something else?
And I have something else.
Trying to remember the years, but probably about 30, I don't know if anybody remembers, like 34, 35 years ago, there was a huge forest fire up in Motley. Does anybody remember that? I mean, it was...
Bedore Nursery, I remember that one.
And the fire jumped the 4-lane highway.
Sure.
And I was like 16 years old, and a friend of mine who was 18, Roger Doucette, he's passed away now, but they were looking for people to fight the fire. And I told my mom, I says, I'm going up to Motley to fight fire. And she says, no, you're not.
You should have let me know. We're taking paid on call applications right now, so could have used you.
Believe it or not, I didn't go and fight the fire up in Motley, but Roger did, and he got his picture on the front page of the paper. He was, shoveling, doing some shoveling, and so, yeah. So there, and somebody thinks, oh, there can't be forest fires around here. There was a huge one up by Motley. It blew through there.
Yeah, and some of the largest natural disasters in the state of Minnesota have actually been wildfires in the history. So,
one thing I'd like to bring up is, with all the storms we've had, with the ice damage we've had, we have a lot of fuel sitting out in the woods. Just sitting out there. And I know maybe, does this address any of that or identify it? And is then a process of, if it's on our land, if it's on county land, it kind of becomes our property cleanup. How does this plan do that? Do you identify those areas? And then what do you do to mediate those areas?
I think there's a number of different things we can do to mediate those. Obviously, like you mentioned, if it's on county land, we can start working through different programs, whether it's logging or things like that. But also we can work with private landowners and work with them on different programs to maybe help them, for instance, get their debris to the road edge and then get some grant money to clean that up. And I think there's this opens up a lot of possibilities that maybe we don't even know all of them at this point, but we're one of maybe 3 or 4 counties, maybe 5 counties in the entire state that have a community wildfire protection plan. So I feel that we're really looking towards the future of what we can do for the county, and this is just that first step.
I have no more questions.
You have no more questions?
I would move the request for board action for the County Board of Commissioners in Crow Wing County to adopt the Community Wildfire Protection Plan.
Second.
We have a motion by Coring, seconded by Barrows. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you for your
Thank you,
presentation.
gentlemen.
Maybe we should have maybe we need a resolution on this too.
Well, I don't know, or do we have to bring it back up to get it re-resoluted or something like that? I'll have to read the book again.
Okay.
I'm glad you're here, Paul. Where's Deb?
She's online.
I'm right here.
Oh, there, uh-oh,
Keep an eye on you.
keeping an eye on us. Thank you, Deb. County Attorney would be next.
Good morning, Commissioners. I don't have anything this morning, but if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to share.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Nope. Thank you, Stephanie. Now, County Administrator.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have asked Kara Terry to provide the senior management team report for you today. I was unable to attend yesterday's meeting, so I believe she is there to give you an update on that.
Here I am. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Senior Management Team report, we met yesterday. We discussed the Continuous Quality Improvement, or CI, team update. We have a new cohort of green belts that will be going through the training. Also, the group is looking for new projects. While we have some in the pipeline, we can always use more. We talked about the status of the 2025 preliminary budget. I will not steal Nancy's thunder, but let's just say we were very pleased with the results in our SMT meeting. Third, we talked about the Atlas Student Volunteer Program. Jory introduced us to that program. Basically, a group of students or individuals through various high schools in the community looking for, that are developmentally or physically disabled, looking for experiences within the community to develop their life skills. So we learned about some projects that they could potentially help with across the county. We did discuss our LEAD program and had to whittle down our big list down to 16 participants from individuals in the county who we want to grow as leaders. So we'll be sending out communications to those staff who will get to participate in that. We also talked about the Pulse survey for our staff, which is the smaller version of the employee engagement survey that will launch on October 16th and close on the 30th. And then discussed benefit open enrollment. It's almost that time of year again, with open enrollment being October 28th through November 8th. And I stand for any questions.
I have none. Is there any questions from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional business that we have for our?
I would say, Mr. Chair, it looks like our great county administrator has remodeled and looks very modern. Your house looks very modern there in North Brainerd.
Until I move my head and get the little,
It looks like it's about 10 stories
virtual
up.
glitch behind you. Yeah, that historic home looks a little different online.
Mr. Chair, I have one item that I would like to, two items I'd like to bring up. First of all, congratulations to Joey Freilich over in the facilities department. He will become the manager on November 8th when John leaves us, so congratulations to him. I have a few days of note here that I would like to bring up to the board. First one is the 12th, which is Are You Okay Day. So I ask all of you, are you okay?
Wait till the 12th.
Right. It's also National Encouragement Day, so I would encourage you to be okay today, or on the 12th. Today is the 10th. National Sober Day is on the 14th. National Wife Appreciation Day. Anybody here struggle with that one? Because if you do, you have a real big issue. That's on the 15th, and Constitution Day is the 17th. Other than that, I do have a report that I could make on my attendance at the Central Minnesota Emergency Services Joint Powers Board meeting, if you'd like, and one on the Airport Commission, if you would like, or I can submit those for your review and attach them to the next meeting minutes, or agenda, sorry.
Will the board on that one? Do you want him to?
Whatever, he's got an election certificate, he can do whatever he wants to do.
I'll attach it to the next meeting. So with that, if there's no one else, Mr. Chair.
As long as you pointing out dates, a date popped into my head. Actually, September 14th, which is coming up, would have been my beloved dad's 94th birthday coming up on, he's been gone for 10 years. On September 14th, it would have been his birthday, so happy heavenly birthday to my dad.
Well, I'm going to do one then.
Okay.
And I know my spouse probably won't appreciate it, but I'm sure my mother-in-law will. My mother-in-law, Donna Weber, today it's her birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to acknowledge that, so.
One
As long
other
as we
thing,
keep doing that.
Tomorrow is 9/11, and we should never forget that day.
Absolutely.
So I apologize for not bringing that one up earlier, but it's interesting when you go look at the calendar of events, and it doesn't appear on all of those. So again, let's not forget that date, so.
Correct.
And Mr. Chair, if there's nothing else, I would make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned.